Today I'm going to give you a specific recipe for lightening up the appearance of those dark spots, aka hyperpigmentation, if you've been struggling to get rid of it. It's not as hard as it may seem, but I don't want to downplay the fact that hyperpigmentation can be really stubborn. However, if you know what type of hyperpigmentation you have, it can be really helpful in making it disappear a little quicker. Another misnomer is that once you get rid of it, you might just be cool forever. You're gonna have to maintain those results. So just bear that in mind. Now I am choosing these products. These are products that, a couple of these that I've recently talked about on my channel. A couple of these were gifted to me. So obviously when I share information with you, I like to try the products, then I will come back spontaneously or sporadically, and I will trickle in little product reviews based on my experience after having used them for a substantial amount of time. So these are a couple of products that I've now been using for a little while, and I decided to see if I could lighten up this hyperpigmentation that had been hanging out on my face for quite a while. I had a few months where, my sleep was really poor. I have a senior pug. He requires me to get up multiple times a night with him. And we all know that whenever you are not sleeping, your skin just really struggles to heal. It doesn't matter if you're a dermatologist or doctor or esthetician like myself. It doesn't matter who you are. We all share similar struggles with our lifestyles and challenges that prevent our skin from sort of having those optimal results at times. Now, I have a lot of products here in my back bar, so I just want to say that first. The products that I'm going to mention here today are not the only products that you can use. You can take this recipe and you can formulate a little plan that works for you, but I'm using these as an example to show you what I did, and I'm also showing you some before and after images. First things first, there is a difference between retinol and acids, and I think that the waters get a little bit muddy whenever we start using those types of products, especially if you're not a skincare professional. I can see how super confusing that would be with the oversaturation of information that's out there. Okay, so I want to let you know that acids are things that are going to, loosen up that dead skin and help remove that dead skin, right? Which is very important because as we age, that cell rate turnover starts to slow down. So we start to see our skin become more dull as we age as a consequence. Now, whenever you're using retinol, it helps speed up that cell rate turnover, right? But it doesn't actually exfoliate the skin the way that those acids do. So with this recipe, I've created a scenario where I alternated back and forth between the acids and the retinoid, and you can do the exact same thing. Now, I want to say, if you are having trouble with the hyperpigmentation recurring, like you get it at bay and then it will recur, if you are having trouble with melasma, you may want to incorporate something with tranexamic acid in it because it will help suppress that melanin production, which again can be really helpful if you're having trouble with it coming up again and again. If you have sensitive skin, if you have rosacea, if you have post-inflammatory marks, azelaic acid can be really helpful. If you have stubborn skin, glycolic has a smaller molecular size, so it may be helpful. If you have more sensitive skin, lactic acid can be helpful. If you are acne prone, salicylic acid is definitely more ideal. Now for me, I was having trouble healing, particularly this side of the face, and then this side started to give me trouble. But we're gonna talk about this side because this side, those post-inflammatory marks were literally there for like 2 months. So a couple of weeks ago, I decided to take a little bit of a different approach and do a little experiment, and it worked. Within a couple of weeks, I noticed a 75% reduction of these marks, and that was without me doing extra stuff like a chemical peel or anything extra, okay? So what I decided to do was I picked this product that I've talked about a few times, and now I've talked about it so much that it feels like a sponsorship, which it is not, but I really wanted to use it, to give it a valiant effort to see if it would work, and my gosh, when a product works, I will tell you about it, okay? And I feel like that is my job, my responsibility, my duty to tell you about it. Now, this one combines about, I think it's 4 different acids. And I thought, you know what, if you're gonna have the best chance at reducing the appearance of those dark spots, then the more I would say, the more acids, the better you have a chance of reducing the appearance, because you're tackling it from different perspectives as far as those ingredients go. Now, if you have super sensitive skin, you may want to adjust the acids, the products, consider what your skin responds well to before you use it. For me, this is a product that I thought was pretty potent, especially for an over-the-counter product. So I decided to go with it. It's by Pose, it's called Unspotted. And I rotated between this and my prescription tretinoin. And I did that because normally I love a good nourishing moisturizing retinol. We carry one in our line. It's called Advanced Retinol Night Cream. It's one that if you have mature sensitive skin, you can tolerate every single night. But whenever I was trying to get rid of these dark spots, it just wasn't enough, because while certain retinols are gentle, that can also make them a little bit less potent. Now, when you're looking for a retinol, by the way, a little side note, over the counter, the retinols that are the most potent are gonna have the AL at the end of them. Now, retinols with the OL and different variations of that can be very helpful if you have sensitive skin, which I fall into that category. I feel like tretinoin just really dries out my skin, even dries out my eyes. So I have a really hard time sticking with this, but I thought for a couple of weeks, I'm gonna try it. I'm going to be very specific and very pointed about where I put it instead of putting it all over my face, so it doesn't dry out my skin as much, so it doesn't dry out my eyes. But I really wanted to see if this approach would work or how well it would work, because I was pretty hopeful that it would, and I found really, really great results by alternating with a combination of acids and the tretinoin. Now, one thing I will say is that you never want to use these on the same nights. You want to alternate, because retinol has a progressive effect on the skin, but if you use these together, if you use potent acids with your tretinoin, you're gonna have probably some sensitized skin. It can lead to irritation and even more dryness, which just puts you back into this compromised skin barrier situation that you definitely don't want. Now, I will say there's a couple of other ingredients that I want to talk to you about that I think were very helpful inside of this process of helping my skin heal. And I picked up this brand just because it was the best price with the best ratings and reviews on Amazon. It is a hypochlorous acid spray, which I'm sure you've heard so much about. It's been around for a bazillion years, but recently it has been more hyped up for all the ways that people are discovering that they can use it. If you have acne flare-ups, if you have eczema, dermatologists have been using it to help expedite the healing process, again, for a very long time, but now it's available over the counter to you. And if you feel like some of those breakouts might be due to some bacteria that just is being stubborn and doesn't want to go away, then adding the hypochlorous acid on your skin, on clean skin, out of the shower or the bath before you proceed with your skincare routine can be helpful. Now, another product that I've been using is this Banish Fighter Gel. I mentioned it in a previous video. Because my skin had been acting up, I wanted something to soothe it, to hydrate it, but I didn't want to go over the top with moisturizers and things like that. It's the summertime here. It's 100+ degrees. My skin just does not want a heavy moisturizer when I am in and out of the door all day long. So this Fighter Gel, it has humectants in it. It's very light, it's very hydrating. It has aloe and arnica, 2 of my favorite healing ingredients in it. And I really can say, I really feel like it works really well. I'm a huge fan. I will definitely be investing in this over and over again. Best part is, say you do want to apply a moisturizer over it, because after 40, our skin does get so dry. Well, you can apply a moisturizer after it, and that will just help seal in the moisture that this guy actually gives us, in addition to helping our skin stay cool and calm. Just a little recap, it does not have to be the products that I've mentioned today. Your recipe is going to be alternating between acids, whatever acid works the best with your skin, and that you know will help you with hyperpigmentation. I've given you many examples today to consider or to talk with your dermatologist about. and alternating that with a tretinoin. And no, it doesn't have to be prescription, but if it's over the counter, again, looking for something with the AL at the end is going to be your most potent option. Now, I do recommend putting something hydrating on top. I was using the Fighter Gel by Banish. You can use whatever works for you on top of these agents at night, which I do highly recommend because doing things like this can dry out your skin. Last but not least, I incorporated the hypochlorous acid into this routine to help expedite, again, the healing process. While this is not medical advice, this was a recipe that worked for me to help me lighten up my hyperpigmentation in a couple of weeks. And remember, whenever you do these things, you're gonna have to keep doing something. You don't have to stick with this routine or this recipe that I've given you as an example today of, but you do need to have something else that you're incorporating into your routine. Maybe it's a retinol with the OL at the end of it that's more tolerable for your skin. Maybe it's something that does include an acid or two that I've mentioned today on a more continual basis to help you maintain those results. Of course, for honorable mention, I love using kojic acid. I think it's wonderful to help lighten and brighten up the skin and even out your skin tone. I love using licorice extract. I think it's one of my favorite on the more natural side of ingredients that can help brighten the skin. Niacinamide is wonderful also. It's a great alternative to even vitamin C if you're wanting to brighten things up. And there are many more brightening agents on the market than what I have mentioned here for you today. This is literally just some food for thought. If you've had that stubborn hyperpigmentation that hasn't gone away and maybe you're not able to get into your dermatologist, or if you've been doing those things that you have using those prescriptions from the dermatologist, but something's not quite right, it's just not quite cutting it, maybe you can experiment using this sort of recipe that I've given you today, and hopefully you'll have better results. Remember, the more you know, the more you glow. Please like and subscribe to my channel and make sure and set that notification bell. Ciao for now.